Isaac, like it'd be sweet if there was like a debate platform. I feel like I shouldn't talk about that. I should just, I should just invent it and patent it, because like one doesn't really exist at the moment. I feel like that's the direction all this is heading, like people having those confrontational conversations.
Yeah, I mean, you can get decent debates going on YouTube. I don't know if we need a specific platform just for debate.
Say that again. Sorry, I had lots of sound playing through in like an amateur.
Sorry, now I've taken a bite of food. I was just saying, I don't know if we need if we need a platform specifically for debate, because we do have YouTube.
The whole thing's short. I mean, like just the way I'm using Hangout now, for example, shorty. You want something where it's just like both teams are on the screen, everyone's watching the same screen.
Yeah, that would be epic. That'd be sweet.
And imagine if there was buttons you could press where it's like you suddenly get swayed who to vote for, you neutral, so you get like a live feed of like how the audience is reacting. Like that'd be fucking awesome, I reckon.
It would be pretty fucking sweet. It would just be a lot smaller than YouTube.
Well, the way you do it is you wouldn't build a profile on the website. Like the website would just be the host, and people have got YouTube accounts, then play it through that, I guess. But that's already kind of
fair enough.
A few other features, and I think it just like, to me, YouTube has always been like a platform for debate. Like the potential's been there, but it's never really like sort of. I want the fucking amphitheater. I want it to be gladiatorial. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think you've persuaded me. You should invent that, because if you could just play it through YouTube, then it would be like a Google Hangout but better and designed specifically for debating.
Exactly. It's, are you still on Twitter, Richard? You just going.
Oh yeah, I'm scanning
Twitter
constantly.
Just 1 minute here, but then I will be back.
Yeah. Are you just reading science studies at the moment? I'm on the Twitter. I see what she's doing, man. It's like.
I'm just seeing what Roaming Millennial's doing right now, and some random dude said one adaptation we've made to eat meat is the carnitine shuttle, which isn't an adaptation to eat meat. It's just a way for your body to use long-chain fatty acids to provide energy to skeletal muscle for aerobic activity. Like, how is that an adaptation to eat meat? That's just an adaptation to use nutrients.
It's
like
such
what?
a distraction, man. Like basically, what she's doing, she's just avoiding. You just need to ask her if she'd eat a dog. Like honestly, that's the way to get through to it.
Well, we already know she wouldn't eat a dog. She actually stated in her original video that she thinks it's unethical to eat dogs because they're so intelligent. So. Yeah,
but okay. So what you say is like what you're trying to achieve is like to win each point as like an argument in terms of like point scoring. The way I see it is like overall, you want to get her audience to consider veganism. Like that to me is a bigger win than.
Right. Yeah. Like during the debate, Isaac used the name the trait argument, and basically we challenged her to name a trait that is present in animals that, if present in humans, would justify killing humans.
Yeah.
She wasn't able to do that, and she ended up pretty much agreeing that it's okay to kill and eat retards.
She kind of did. I mean, she basically, the way she got out,
she kind of did.
Was she said she doesn't think it's a single thing; it's like a multitude of things. And
well, that's the exact same thing as that's just the exact same thing as saying because cows are different from humans. Like it's just a nonsense argument.
I'm back now. I remember some of the ones that she used. She said she used intelligence. I mean, that's just, retards, right? They're less intelligent. Is it okay to kill them based on that? No, double standard. Sentience, same thing. Somebody who's got reduced sentience, is it okay to kill them? No, of course not. She said health at one point, and that's when she got a little backed into the corner and almost said it's okay to eat retards. I think that what happened, I said she was saying eating humans isn't healthy, as if that's why we don't do it. So I was like, okay, well, what if it was healthy? And I forget, but it was somewhere in there. And then the final one that she came around to was just the totality of difference. Just there's a bunch of differences. And it's like, well, I mean, that's just not an argument at all. You could say there's a bunch of differences between blacks and whites, so it's okay to do some horrible shit to black people. It's like, no, you need to actually spell out the specific difference or set of differences. You can't just say differences exist.
I'm jealous of you guys, man, because I don't have the Jewish or the black thing to like play off of. I get called anti-Semitic.
Right, yeah.
Well, technically, we only have the half Jewish and the half black thing.
That would be, between the two of you, you've got a card there somewhere, like just to play. It's
black Jew privilege.
I've been called fucking You have
Yeah,
to.
it's helpful when they complain about the use of the word Holocaust.
Yeah, well, fine, man. I got put in like a Sunday national paper in the UK because I wrote a kosher Holocaust on a kosher slaughterhouse. You know? I put
Oh my god.
and so immediately they're like, Nazis attack slaughterhouse. You know, that's like the fucking headline. Context. They don't fucking talk about the animal cruelty. They just say these militant vegans have attacked a slaughterhouse. The workers feel threatened and can't sleep at night.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's why they can't sleep at night. It's not
like
animals.
You know what? I mean, I had that whole issue with the cops like accusing me that I was gonna go nuts and shoot a bunch of people. Like, how many fucking vegans have actually committed a mass murder? I think it's pretty low.
Well, if you think about it, none, because if humans are animals, to commit a mass murder, you'd have to be non-vegan to do it. So that's the loophole, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's confusing.
I mean, like, it is possible somehow that someone who's vegan could commit a mass murder. It just seems like it's kind of like picturing a Jane going on a mass murder. It's unlikely to come from a fundamentally anti-violent ideology.
Yeah.
No, they'd be plant-based. Like, you can't kill humans and be vegan. Like, that's obviously like it breaks.
Yeah, sorry. I was obviously meaning someone who self-identifies as vegan. Obviously, going on a needless massacre makes you not vegan.
Yeah, as soon as you do it, you're not. And that's the thing when they like. There's always that thing in the newspaper where it's like vegans almost killed a kitten. Everyone's like, "Oh my god, this is terrible. Fuck vegans" or whatever. And it's like they miss the word almost. And the fact is, like, if they did kill the kitten, then they wouldn't be vegans. You know what I mean? So it's like the definition.
Well, if they killed it by accident, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say that makes them not vegan any more than like accidentally hitting an animal with a car. But and just that particular story, it's so funny because people always bring that up. It's like, I think the story was a couple fed a cat like potatoes and rice milk. It's like, yeah, no shit, that's obviously not a nutritionally adequate diet for a cat. Does anybody think that is a common phenomenon, that happens often in veganism?
I mean, the media fucking hates vegans. There was those climbers who went up Mount Everest and they did it as like a vegan thing to show vegans, you know, like having a fun to make up Everest.
Preachy vegans preach from top of mountain.
Yeah, but there was some fucking freak avalanche. They died in it. And the media actually like put out the headline like vegans struggle to climb Everest. Like,
yeah, I remember that.
Can't climb Everest? That's what they came out with?
Yeah.
Vegan fails to climb Everest?
Seriously, that was the fucking headline.
Protein.
Yeah, when I was dealing with my legal issues, my lawyer said that like he could get the media involved with my case and like show how the cops are like mistreating me and shit. I didn't want to do it because like I'm vegan and I have some kind of inflammatory shit on my channel. Like if you give that to the media, they'd just slander me.
Well, the media are going to fuck you either way. So I see it like you get a few people, like with the kosher Holocaust thing. I mean, I put it with a question mark on the fucking wall. They didn't print that bit. Like I was trying to like play it a little bit safe, but is that all over then, the legal thing with the police and the...
Yeah. It was finally settled a week ago, so I'm gonna be getting my like BB guns and stuff back, and I can finally own firearms. So that'll be great.
That's nice.
And
get an assault rifle.
One beneficial outcome here is that you can now officially tell people that you are sane.
Yeah. I was seen by 2 psychiatrists, man.
Wow, that's proper. That's yeah. I mean, the media's always going to spin it. Like, I mean, I find it fucking skin crawlingly creepy that we live in a world where it's like there is a fucking agenda against vegans to just like make us look stupid, like, you know, kind of like debunk us. Anytime we fuck up a little bit, then it's associated with the fact we're vegan. Like, I hate it. Like to put vegans try and climb Mount Everest and fail because they're vegan when they're the fucking
yeah, that's really low and fucked up.
Yeah, so I mean, I've learned in the whole chain of stuff. It's like you've got the fucking mindless, retarded zombies like in the supermarket. Like you can't really blame them because they're idiots, right? And then it's like the slaughterhouse workers say, "Oh, we're doing it to supply it to these people, and it's just a job." So you can't really blame them. So like, the one group of people that I definitely can blame is the people who do advertising, because they go in knowing that it's fucked up and that they have to sell this thing, and then they have to hide it behind like, you know, cartoon cows, like happy eggs, fucking like I'm loving it with McDonald's, and those people are like, I reserve the word evil for those people. Like marketing is where the media is the most fucked up part in all of this, and I think like
turd polishers.
well, not even turd polishers. Like they're the ones brainwashing people. And I'd put roaming millennial as like an amateur sort of, you know, she's like a Z-list celebrity using the media for that reason. Like she's just trying to make a bit of fucking cash off the comments on her live stream, whilst basically like slowing down human progress. She's such a cunt.
Yeah, I don't know enough to comment on her motives.
But, I mean, just to break it down, I made some fucking notes on the thing. Like, who picked Blair White? Did roaming millennial get to pick who was the mediator?
Yeah, she chose Blair.
You think that the modding was bad? Richard thinks it was somewhat bad. I don't think it was quite as bad. I think it was.
I don't think it was horrible, but there were some huge issues that made the debate kind of go off the rails a bit. Like she didn't force roaming millennial to just answer the points we made and the questions she was being asked. She just trailed off and babble incessantly.
Yeah.
So she really should have said, no, you're not talking about the right topic. You're trailing off. Answer the question. And I had to do that the entire time.
But you know, you kind of didn't do that though. I mean, like, just to kind of like maybe some advice if you want to take on board. It's like one of the best things I learned from reading the book The Art of War. Like this line fucking stayed with me. It's like never interrupt an enemy when they're making a mistake. So you should have just let her fucking run out of steam. Like just let her talk shit and then just be like that.
Well, the problem is the debate was only an hour long, and if you just let her talk about completely irrelevant bullshit for like 10 minutes at a time, then you know you're not going to be able to, you know, speak your side of the argument.
She did monologue a lot, but I think like I don't know, man. If you'd let her like just speak for like 30 seconds straight, I reckon she would have just run out of steam. Like she was struggling at certain points as well, you know. So I think just let her talk shit, and like her audience will kind of see that, like just through her body language, that she doesn't really know what the fuck she's talking about. And then you go in and school.
I fucking caught her bad in some places, like her saying that enzymes, like we have certain digestive enzymes that we've evolved like to eat meat, and I said, okay, name the enzyme, and she couldn't. She just said, I'm not a biologist. Like that's not an answer. Like she's just flat out admitting that she has no fucking idea of what she's talking about, and she's talking out of her ass. So there were some points where I really caught her bad.
I was surprised to see her go on and talk about the enzyme thing on Twitter, still without mentioning the specific enzyme.
Oh yeah, like oh my god, you should check out her Twitter. Again, she linked like some Scientific American article, which was just an opinion piece. It has absolutely no citations. And then I told her again, that's not evidence. Again, name one single physiological adaptation we've made to eat meat. Then again, she just stated enzymes. I said, name the fucking enzyme. And this is an easy thing to do. Like I can say humans have evolved to eat high carbohydrate diets, particularly starches. That's why we have amylase genes. And like, there you go. There's evidence that we've evolved to eat carbohydrates. Why can't she show evidence for a specific enzyme we've evolved to eat meat?
Yeah, like to your credit, like you really know your shit. Like usually when people pull out the K2 card, it's just like, well, fuck, I haven't done my research on that. Like I see a lot of vegans like where it's certain, like K2 is like the wild card of like people who have read Authority Nutrition like a couple times, and I think
that guy's an absolute fucking moron. Like what he does.
Actually, I think it's fair to call what he does anti-vegan propaganda.
Yeah, absolutely. Like what he does, his whole game is he'll take a specific vitamin like vitamin K2, claim that you can only get it from animal products, and then he'll link scientific sources like, you know, studies showing the benefits of vitamin K2. Well, there's studies on vitamin K2 supplementation. It has nothing to do with eating meat. So it's completely misrepresenting like nutrition information.
But Richard, what you've got to remember is like we live in a generation now where like the majority of people read headlines, not the fucking, you know, the science.
Yeah, that's the thing. And like that's what roaming millennial does. She's like, oh look, here's an article. That's good enough. Without actually saying if there's any credible evidence in it.
I think it's funny how VeganRevolution, you just constantly bring it back to, look, guys, but you have to remember, people are just basically retarded.
Yeah.
No, I don't like to use the word retarded, like not because it's like rude, but just I prefer the word domesticated, because the way I see it is like fucking warehouses. Do you know what I mean? They've been genetically bred to become like useless products, basically.
Right.
Sorry, are you talking about humans right now?
Yeah, and I'm talking about fucking humans. Like we're the most we're so domesticated, man. Like this is not a wild state. You know, this is like just weak fat people existing.
Which, like, I don't think we want to be in our wild state. You don't quite.
I'm not glorifying some like kind of natural state.
Yeah, okay. Like, just making sure.
You know,
I get what you're saying. Like, we've kind of developed a society where like stupid retards can kind of breed too much, and we cater to them a little too much.
It's like dogs, man. It's like dogs are retarded wolves over generations. The Victorians like fucked with their breeding and tried to make them cute, sold them, but they're just generations of retards. It's exactly the fucking same things happen to humans. We're so domesticated, man. Like it's just people. Everyone's fucking sick. Everyone's ill. Everyone's fucking stupid. And you know, like I mean, the vegans are like depressingly kind of like probably the best we've got. And like even then, like most vegans, like, I've got pretty depressed this year, just seeing a lot of vegans. Like you think vegans understand it, and then you find out they're just kind of fucking plant-based, or they turn out to be Nikocado avocado. Like, the whole thing's become a bit of a shit show. Really.
Well, I think a lot of vegans are just retarded. I mean, it doesn't actually take much intelligence or empathy to be like, oh yeah, it's not a good idea to just stab the shit out of something for no reason. It's not like a high barrier for entry into this community.
The way to say that sort of like more media friendly, like the Venn diagram is like all humans are pretty much retarded, and a small amount of them aren't who happen to be vegan. But like still a lot of vegans are retarded. I mean, fucking unnatural vegan exists. You know what I mean? Like I just and the fucked up thing is like she does turn some people vegan. You know what I mean? Like people need like this kind of like fucking weird librarian authority figure to tell them what to do rather than just to think themselves. I
haven't looked at a lot of Swayze's stuff. Are you kind of like anti-Swayze? Is that where you're coming from?
It's not even anti-Swayze. It's just that type of person. Like people are so institutionalized that they need some kind of like slightly nanny figured like mother to just kind of tell them what to think rather than just like. I mean, like one of the things Richard does is he just goes, "Here's the links to the scientific," and like. You know, some people might fucking read them, but I imagine most people don't. But,
I see what you're saying. Like, they kind of respond to somebody who appears as a calm, collected authority figure.
Yeah, and of course they do, because we've been brought up in a school where you get told what to do, you get rewarded for it. It's
right.
University, then you get.
Yeah, I mean, like she definitely links studies to her videos, right?
Yeah,
I mean, yeah.
No, but it's more like the approach. I'm not even having to go at her. I'm just saying, like, some people like. If you kind of go, look, this is really fucking obvious, but like figure out the rest for yourself. Here's like the first steps to it. Most people won't bother. Like you have to kind of like babysit them through the entire process of being vegan, where you don't even like explain shit to them. You just tell them what to do. And so like that's why most people aren't really going vegan. They don't make an ethical connection. They just kind of like learn what to eat for breakfast differently and then go, oh, I'm a vegan now. I think that connection is really important. Like that connection is like escaping your domestication a little bit, and like most people aren't ready for that. They're too fucking domesticated.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm not sure if I'm 100% following right now, but I definitely think that you need a variety of different approaches because people are at different places and different information works for different people. Like in some cases, just having Richard be like, "You're just a fucking moron. This makes absolutely no sense. Are you stupid?" I mean, that really does it for some people. Some people can't take criticism, and they need someone more like Swayze who's going to say, "Look, like I'm not going to say anything bad about you, but I kind of think you're wrong here," you know?
Yeah, exactly. And like, that's kind of what I'm saying.
Not hating on either approach.
And like no offense to you, like I think you're a great debate partner, but I think like you have, in terms of like picking the right people for the debate, I think like you kind of came in with like logic and like that wasn't really accurate for the audience of Roaming Millennial. You needed someone.
Who are you talking to right now?
Yeah, sorry, you, Isaac. It's like kind of, well, I guess kind of both of you, but I guess it was Vegan Games debate, right? So to like, really there needed to be like some kind of fairly simple female who just wanted to be like, oh, I'm happy doing it this way, like, and I don't like hurting animals. Like that would probably have more impact on her following than like two people trying to explain logic and science to her. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not necessarily saying that going in and explaining why it like is not a logically consistent position is the optimal way to convert the most people possible. But I just wanted to be really clear and know that I have gotten my position across. So that's kind of what my mindset was going into that.
I mean, this kind of becomes like wrestling. Do you know what I mean? Like this new kind of format that's starting to develop of like online debates. I think, and kind of picking those teams and like the right angles to go with. And sadly, this is basically what I'm saying is because the majority of people are so fucking stupid. Like you kind of have to have someone who can speak almost like they're talking to a child rather than they're having an I mean, that fucking, what was he called? Like the monkey dude. Like,
oh yeah, yeah. He posted some comments after the fact that people shared with me, and they just showed such a lack of understanding of what either of us were saying. I'll read it off to you once I can find it.
I mean, the thing is, you hit him with the "Can you name a single difference between humans and animals?"
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And humans.
Here's his comment on that after the fact.
Yeah.
Someone told him they didn't understand my comment or my argument, and he said, I understood his argument just fine. It's a moronic argument. If you have to reduce humans to the intelligence of cows to make your point, that they are the same, it's a shitty point. You're the one elevating cows to humanity. That's fucking retarded. It's like, I'm pretty sure we both were pretty clear that we do not consider cows and humans equal. And we don't consider harming them equal.
It's not just that. It's the fact that like you repeated it to him several times, and then you almost like had to break it down on an even simpler level for him to understand it, and he still didn't fucking get it. Like that guy was so dumb, man.
Yeah, he's just really stupid.
And it's almost like once you see who they've paired up for the partner, you need someone who's kind of like not necessarily equally dumb, but like willing to have the patience to just. I mean, like I think Isaac, like you did it. Like you don't get. You're very good at removing yourself emotionally, which is like a very logical approach. So I think that comes across as like calm, and like it kind of worked with you as like good cop, bad cop, I guess, in that dynamic. You were just like straight on her as soon as she fucked up. So I
still like a little bit of a bad cop, but yeah, I try to stay kind of calm for the most part if I can. Not always successful.
Yeah, I mean, you'll have got through to a percentage of their following, I think, where people are kind of planting to see where people are like, oh, maybe the vegans have got a fucking point. But
I honestly think anyone over an IQ of like 120 probably understood what happened in that debate.
Yeah,
that's not most people though.
Yeah,
I understand. I get what you're saying. If you want to get out to the masses, break it down. Just be like, why hurt an animal? I don't want to hurt an animal.
Do you have a dog? Would you eat your dog? You've got to go in at that fucking level with most people. Man. Like, I do that with the police at like bearing witness stuff, and like the police are that fucking stupid. You have to talk to them at that level where it's just like, would you eat a dog? And then they're like suddenly like, oh my god, I've never thought about it like that.
Right.
Yeah, I guess I just, for whatever reason, I just place higher value on knowing that I've conveyed myself as clearly as possible than knowing that I've convinced people. I'm not sure, maybe that's the wrong way to weight things, but I naturally tend towards that. I feel weird when I don't do that.
Like, I think you just have to adjust how you respond to these sorts of people based on who you're talking to. Like, if it's a moron, like, would you eat your dog? Then why would you eat a cow? Like, that's sort of the kind of strategy you have to go with.
Would you eat your dog? Yeah, no, I hear you. I mean, I'm not saying you guys are wrong. I'm not saying you get at more people with just hammering the logic. But I don't know. I guess I also, when I do this, I think a lot about, I don't know, just the vegans who are watching. I just want it to be really fucking clear for anyone who's capable of getting it. I mean, there's a ton of people who are going to put it nice and basic and in simple terms, and I totally respect that. But, like, it's just not so much what I do. It's not what my channel or approach in general is about. Like, I just like laying out the fucking logic. This is exactly what you're saying. This is why it's wrong. And anyone who that serves, then that's good for them.
Okay. I think it is important to sort of appeal to smarter people like that.
I don't think you need to. I don't think it's necessarily superior or inferior. Maybe it is inferior in terms of converting people, but it's
no. I mean, appeal to smarter people. Like, you just have to make a much more detailed, articulated argument for smarter people to really take notice.
Yeah, and just the more that you go in that direction, probably the less people who are going to be convinced, presumably, because smart people are a smaller chunk of the, Yes, there's a trade-off there. I don't know. I do what I do, but I don't rip on people who take it the other way, who just want to be simple as fuck and just put across in a way that an idiot would understand.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, we need many approaches, I think, and it's I mean, here's a kind of, I'm not decided on this at all, but like I've seen it happen so many times where it plays out and it fucking annoys me, and I still don't really have an answer for it. And it happened in this debate. It's like the whole thing of as soon as you use the word murder, they're like, oh, well, actually, the definition of murder, and it's like, fuck, come on, you understand what I'm saying?
Well, we hopped right on that and didn't get much pushback. It's just like there's other definitions that aren't anthropocentric. Problem solved.
Just the fact that their brain is wired up, so they hear the word murder and go, actually, the definition is wrong, rather than being like, fuck, yeah, I'm murdering animals with my money.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're obviously coming very, sorry, were you trying to say something, Richard?
Yeah, like, and really, the whole thing, like, oh, it's not murder when you murder an animal, it's really just a red herring. They're missing the entire point of that argument. Like, the message you're trying to convey is it's wrong to kill animals. Yeah. And they're just trying to play some stupid semantic word game where that's not murder, it's just a red herring.
But this is the question I've got, is like, do you avoid it going in that direction because you kind of know it's going to happen, or do you persist with the word murder until they start? I mean, it's kind of the same.
It also kind of depends with who I'm talking to. Like, I generally use the word like kill animals because I don't want the whole, you know, argument to be derailed by stupid semantic word games.
Yeah, I mean, it's always a hard choice because you know when you use accurate words like murder or Holocaust that you will get some pushback on them. And I get that you can hammer through or you can just use other words. I don't know. I mean, personally, I still use them. I just like being honest. My highest value is just honest self-expression. I think that the way you come across is better when you're being honest. And also, I mean, I for whatever reason have tended a bit away from murder and a bit more towards stab to death needlessly.
Yeah, you repeatedly said like stab a cow in the neck, and I think that they're probably at that kind of stupid level with those words. Like it's just monosyllabic, like it's visual. Like it really gets
there's no semantic game you can play with stab to death needlessly. It's like that's exactly what you're talking about doing.
Yeah, exactly. And I think maybe like that, breaking it down to that very sort of like layman term level of like you are stabbing a cow in a neck, in their neck. You know, like that's. I think it might need to. I think that might be more effective than using the word murder, where they can just derail it and suddenly feel like they've scored a point on you because they've read some Google definition of murder and not looked at the second option for it. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's weird because I don't know. Like, it could be that it's more effective not to use it. It's just my metric for how, like, I just don't base my behavior on being effective. What I care about is just being honest. And you know, if what's on my mind in that moment is murder, I'm just gonna say murder.
Yeah. I mean,
like revolution is very much coming from a place of like, how do you optimize what you're saying to get through to as many people as possible at all times?
Well, I mean, mostly is like we're going to be dead one day. Let's use our time the most effectively. And sadly, what we've got to work with is a lot of idiots. So we have to tailor it. I mean, it's marketing. You know what I mean? Like what we do. I mean, we're not getting, you know, necessarily like paid for it the same way McDonald's is, where they stick love on Happy Meals on the packaging and they sell it to fucking kids. But like, it's not like a product in that sense. It's an ideology, but it still is sort of a product. So it's kind of important to, you know, and as soon as she starts adding K2, B12 onto the argument of like veganism, she's tactfully trying to persuade her audience to just get bored of listening to things that don't make sense to them and just go, oh, that's too complicated. I'll never give that a try. Like, she's sneaky, man.
The thing is, you know, I'd rather just express myself honestly. Like, I mean, I could try to have more of a mass appeal by being more polite, but, you know, that's just not who I am. I think you have to also consider, like, people like dealing with real people. True. Like, if you're acting honestly, I think people do respect honesty.
I do too. I think they sense authenticity and a lack of restraint. Like what I mean, the reasons that I don't do a lot of the like trying to make your speech more palatable to people stuff is I feel like it compromises the actual emotional place I'm coming from. And it's too abstract to really like argue with people about. So I just say, yeah, I'm not sure it's the most effective. I value honesty, and I can get into why I do. I also think that just being really clear, even if it's not the optimal strategy to convert the person you're talking to, I think it really provides a level of philosophical clarity for the vegans who are listening. So I think there's other benefits to being very like direct and logical in how you're doing things.
You know, I've started to see quite a few vegans who are like quite new to it. Like it's almost like they've got a bit too involved too quickly, where they've suddenly got a YouTube channel, they've been vegan like 2 months, and they haven't built the foundation knowledge. And they're the people who become ex-vegans really quickly because they suddenly can't handle like, you know, suddenly being in this arena where like you have to know a bunch of shit. And I think it probably does benefit veganism as well, like having you guys talk about K2 and B12 so that those people can then kind of learn it off of you guys, how to handle those things, rather than steering it away from the more complex stuff. So I agree with you that it's like you're also doing it for the vegan audience like a lot of the time, just so that you can like build a, you know, like a what am I trying to say?
You can just teach other vegans how to be more effective in an argument.
And just to shore up their philosophical understanding of the topic. Like, I mean, for me, I think one of my huge goals is really to clarify vegan philosophy for vegans, because there's just such confusion that people have trouble arguing for veganism. I mean, a lot of people seem to think that all life is equal. I mean, that's just a demented position. You want to kill your lobster or kill a daughter. So I don't know, that's a big part of what I view myself as doing when I talk on YouTube at all.
I don't know if that's a species-based thing though, because if you ask someone like, "Oh, would you kill this convicted paedophile with a lobster?" Like people would be like, "Oh, like you know the pub."
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously, we're not talking about like if you start adding in other factors like, oh, it's Hitler or something. It's like, yeah, well, I mean, sure. Like, so obviously, I'm not a pacifist. I think there's times to kill humans. If you make the human bad enough, like, oh, it's a person who's attacking you, or oh, it's Hitler or something like this. Like, yeah, of course, then that person has less value than a lobster. But generally speaking, just a standard human and a lobster. I mean, anyone who's going to say you should flip a coin or you should kill the human is just so profoundly confused about ethics. And that's the kind of stuff that I would like to clear up.
I know what you're saying. And I've seen like one of the videos you did that I really liked was the graph of like importance of sentience and just saying, here's the cutoff point, and you know, just don't needlessly kill them from this point.
Yeah, totally.
And that was a really nice graphic, like a graphic as in like a graphic rather than violent way of displaying that. That I think broke it down for people. But I honestly think I've become so misanthropic in the last few years that if someone said like, oh, here's a fat kid eating McDonald's, or do you want to kill like, you know, several bees that will help pollinate flowers, I'd struggle. I'd be like, maybe kill the fat kid. Like, he doesn't look like he's going to turn into a vegan activist. Like, what's the fucking use in him? He's just going to put food in one end, shit it out, and eventually die. Like, the you know, the bees are doing something for the harmony of the planet.
Yeah, no, I certainly wouldn't want to be killed for an action that I'm not even aware I'm doing. I mean, I don't like the thought of someone applying that kind of like utilitarian calculus and just being like, oh, you mean less than a squirrel? Like, fuck you. You know, I think that you need to really assume innocence. Like, in that context, it means assuming ignorance. Like, you don't know that person knows what they're doing.
Yeah, and I suppose like the problem with it is like people end up having these hypothetical arguments about like, would you kill a lamb or you know, your mother or whatever. But in reality, like veganism is you just kill neither, and that's like the third option. Everyone always tries to break it down to the two options.
Yeah, but I mean, you acknowledge that there is serious philosophical confusion here, because a lot of people think that the life value of a human is equivalent to like a fly or a lobster. I mean, you don't hold that position, do you?
I mean, do you know what the word sonder means? If you come across that one in your
to sonder around?
Yeah, so sonder is
Terrasunder?
No, it's sonder as in like wander, but with an S instead.
Yeah, sondering, yeah.
Yeah, like so, like that means to suddenly appreciate that everything that is like sentient has a life as complex as your own going on at the same time as you. It's like the ultimate like destruction of your ego. I mean, like,
do you think that that's the case? I mean, you must acknowledge that animal conscious experience is nothing like human conscious experience. I mean, a fly is not having cognition like a human is.
I don't know. I mean, like maybe I've done too many fucking shrooms.
Whoa. I mean, I don't know, man. No way. I mean, a fly cannot do what a human can do. A fly is not going to experience self-transcendence through meditation or feel unconditional love or, you know, marvel at the beauty of the cosmos and science, and its consciousness lasts nowhere near as long as a human. There's no saying that they're equivalent in life value.
Like, we're not saying that certain organisms like don't have any value, like a fly, but we're saying if we had to choose between killing a human and killing a fly, like obviously killing a fly would be the more logical choice.
Yes, exactly.
I think I've become that misanthropic that it does kind of depend on whether the human's vegan. But I don't know, man. Like,
yeah, I mean, like, I like you as a guy. No, don't take this the wrong way, but like, I would actually view that as a really profoundly evil position, man. Like, you can't say a human and a fly have the same life value because you've become fed up with humans. I mean, that's obviously coming from your feelings towards humans.
Like, to be honest, I'd rather save my own pet dog than some random person I don't know, but that's kind of on a different level.
yeah, and that comes into like nepotism, really, because it starts to become like what's considered family as opposed to strangers rather than...
Right, yeah.
Yes, but also how someone will act. I mean, I would save my kid, if I had a kid, sooner than someone else's kid. It's not that I would actually objectively say that my kid has more value or want the laws to reflect that.
I mean, yeah, I mean, maybe I've just done too many fucking streams. I don't see humans as that important anymore. I just see it as like kind of like if this is like another ocean that's made of air, like it's a different density. We're just like some bottom fucking bacteria crab people feeding on the bottom of it, and shit dying. Like, I don't think that's special, really.
Well, I mean, to have this conversation, like, I mean, this is going to become a big conversation, so we don't need to go down the road. But I mean, this is going to get into meta ethics because you have to get into what is of value, and surely what is of value is well-being. I mean, what else is there to value?
Yeah, I mean, like, and does that even matter in terms of like? I mean, obviously, the vegan position is basically do harm to neither, and then there's some crazy hypothetical in which like one happens or the other. You know, some people might end up in those, and like obviously the vegan thing to do is to do neither. And I think that's I didn't expect this to turn into a debate. I thought it was going to be more of a post-match thing. But like,
yeah, sorry, no.
I'm up for it because I'm not completely settled on my opinion on this either. It's more me acting emotionally than logically, probably. But
because I'll lay out why that doesn't make sense for me. I mean, unless you're going to say that well-being does not matter morally, which would just lead to positions like what's wrong with the Holocaust. Well, I mean, who the fuck knows? Unless you're going to say well-being doesn't matter ethically, then you're going to need to value creatures to the extent that they're capable of well-being. And a creature that is capable of greater forms of well-being and who can experience well-being for a longer period of time would therefore have more value. Again, maybe not subjectively to you. You might not be able to help that you've got a biological impulse to love your mother more than some other woman, but logically speaking, they would have the same value and a fly would have less value. And it's all because at base you value well-being, and different beings can manifest well-being to different degrees.
I mean, I don't know why are you basing on well-being rather than kind of like function as like in terms of the equilibrium of, you know, the planet.
Well, I mean, we would only care about the equilibrium of the planet insofar as it affects the well-being of sentient beings. If there was no sentient beings there to experience well-being, what would the condition of the planet matter? I mean, it's all just going to come back to well-being.
No, that's a good point. I see what you're saying with that. Yeah, okay.
Because like there's weird positions like deep ecology. I mean, I don't know if you guys have ever heard this shit, where they try to place value on the environment in of itself. And so I can understand why you might think that makes sense, but the environment only has value to the extent that it affects the well-being of sentient beings. You don't care about the environment on Venus for a reason.
I mean, I could go a little bit sort of like probably surreal with this rather than kind of like philosophical, but like, I mean, this is more like an understanding that I've developed from doing like big doses of shrooms, but I've kind of,
just for the record, everyone here has, I think, done a good
I've done my fair share.
We're not like in that world. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of come to the understanding that rather than seeing it as kind of like, you know, like a chemical universe, and then the chemicals allow, you know, like an experience to exist, I see it like the other way around, where it's like the concepts were dormant and, okay, here's how I'd phrase it. Like, the way I'd build up to this, right, is like, before any creatures existed in the universe, or they evolved or whatever, like, what did colors exist before any creatures had eyes in it that enabled them to see the colors?
The subjective perception of color did not exist. The molecular reality that determines color was still there. I mean, molecules were still there, and they still reflected light of the wavelengths that correspond to the colors that we see. But the subjective experience of color did not exist until subjective experience existed, which was when sentience arose.
Yeah, exactly right. So like, and then when you die, okay, like, you believe that the world will carry on after you, right? Like, there'll still be stuff.
Yeah, no, I'm not a solipsist. Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
I don't see any reason to think otherwise.
And so, like, another way to look at it is like the internet, in theory, existed in cavemen times, right? To be.
I don't agree with that. What do you mean when you say that?
In theory, like, there was the metal in the ground, the potential to like harvest, you know, like all the stuff to build it. It just took that much time to get to a point where it could exist.
It's just a weird example because the internet isn't a physical object. But if you want to say like the Leaning Tower of Pisa existed before it was the Leaning Tower of Pisa or something, sure.
Yeah, like anything that's like kind of conceptual, basically. Like, in theory, it was dormant, but it didn't exist yet in terms of time, right? So the way I see it is like, just like the creatures got to a point where conceptually they could experience colors that were always dormant. I think concepts themselves are dormant, and then we've developed the physical body and able to experience them. So like things like, you know, stuff like love, hate, like transcendental meditation, like stuff you were talking about earlier. Like, we're actually kind of like evolving physically to meet the concepts that have been dormant the entire time. So it's like it flips it around. Rather than like we've evolved to a point where we can experience those. They've always been there, but now we've got to a point where we can experience them.
Well, to me, I just don't see how that butts up against what I'm saying. I mean, you can clarify it for me, but I don't understand how that would mean that there is something outside of well-being that we would value. Like, what could we value other than well-being?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's kind of like, so if you look at the truth as an objective thing that we're working towards and like we're discovering, rather than something we're inventing as a society, like I believe in like objective truth rather than subjective.
Yeah, getting closer and closer to it.
Yeah, and like logically getting to that point. So it's something that the truth dormantly exists, and we're just like having to figure it out, and it's our own sort of obstacles of like stupidity that we're getting rid of to get to that point. So in that same sense, it's kind of like the things that are more important to me is like, so like you could argue that humans are having a bigger experience than a fly, because morally, you know, like they can make decisions. Maybe they have more of a sense of free will.
Yeah, yeah. The same reason some aliens would have more value than a human, hypothetically.
Yeah, exactly. So what I'm saying is, it's like humans, I see them kind of as lesser beings, because we're in bodies that have allowed us to conceptualize these morals, but a lot of people have then failed on their morals, like they've just disregarded their principles, even though they've been given that opportunity. So in that sense, it's like having failed to have the principles but having access to them means that people without principles are of less worth than animals that don't have those opportunities.
Maybe if you're talking about someone who comprehends why they should have principles and still refuses to for selfish reasons, but I really wouldn't apply that to like a kid in McDonald's, like you said before. I mean, I was that kid in McDonald's eating a fucking double chicken with a fucking bacon one stuck inside of it. You know, it's like, I just, you can't judge someone for an action they haven't taken. And also, this is becoming a bit too focused on this, so maybe we can move on. But I mean, again, I don't see how that would make something other than well-being have moral value.
I mean, one of the things that I find, like, just like the word murder, if I use the word evil for like what you're doing evil, it's an evil action, that really upsets people. They're like, you can't use the word evil, that's too strong a word. And like, I just want to know what they're saving that word for. Like, people who knowingly, like, they've watched Earthlings, they fucking understand what they're doing, and they continue. Like, do we just go, oh, they still don't understand, and so we just have to pity them? Or is that where we use the word evil? We go, actually, what right now is fucking evil. Like, you're an evil person.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm all for using the word evil. Definitely, people who clearly know what's up and continue to do what they're doing, that is evil.
Yeah, and I just think like if you've got the potential to have like if you believe in free will, or even just like the opportunity to like have a bigger moral agency than another creature, and then you fail it, then I think that puts you lower than the creature that doesn't have the ability to do that because you fail. I shouldn't be thinking about the fat kid in the McDonald's. Like he might grow up to be the next Gary Rofsky, so you don't know.
Yeah, you never know. And I mean, that might make an individual, again, like if we're talking about Hitler or something, it's like if you pick a person who's been shitty enough morally, then sure, they have less value than a fly. I mean, there's people who we've had to kill before because they're just bad for the world and they're just doing horrible things. They have less value than a fly. But you can't extrapolate from those people to people in general and say people have less value than flies.
Can I say carnists have less value than flies? Is that like
No.
I wouldn't accept that. Sorry, what, Richard?
No, I wouldn't accept that because, like, again, like good people could be eating meat. They just don't realize what they're doing yet. And even people who are complete fucking assholes. Like a lot of the people who've watched my channel, they've said, at first I fucking hated you. I troll your channel constantly and make fun of you for being vegan. But then after a few months, I realized, I'm being a dick and you were right. Like you have to give people a chance.
Yeah. And I mean, Vegan Revolution, if you want to talk about what carnists who fully know what they are doing, then we can start making a separation there. But when you're talking about people who are doing something evil and legitimately don't know what they're doing, I'm not willing to condemn those people. I could be that person. So it wouldn't be consistent for me to do that.
I suppose that creates the question, and I'm not trying to make an argument at all here, it's more just exploring the thought. It's like, what is the cutoff point between giving up on someone? Rather than going, oh, I'm unable to express veganism to them clearly enough for them to get on board with it, so it's kind of in some way my burden, as opposed to just like, oh, they're just so fucking evil that I can't help them.
Maybe you should take it, Richard. I've been talking a lot.
You know what? I think you just need to give people an opportunity to do right and learn. And everyone makes mistakes at some point, and you have to look at things practically. Like, having this argument that people in general aren't as valuable as flies, where does it lead to? Like, you have to kind of have hope for people. Like, that's the whole point. You can't just change the world by giving up on everyone and saying, fuck you, you're all worthless, just like flies. I'd kill you all. You have to give people an opportunity.
I mean, yeah, come on.
Well, sorry, I was just going to say, yeah, I mean, I think misanthropy is, and if you want to talk about effective activism, people do not resonate with misanthropy. But I would just say, I just want to answer your question. You're asking at what point do you start saying someone's evil? I mean, obviously it's somewhat subjective, but I think when you are genuinely convinced that this person understands what's up and they just don't care. I mean, when it's really reasonable to believe that's the case, that's the point when I'd say, okay, yeah, that's an evil person. They don't care that they're doing horrible things.
I mean, so I think I went through a phase, and I might still kind of be going through it, where, like, 'cause I was a fucking militant vegetarian kid at school. I had to sit on a table by myself because I was always telling people they were eating, baked sheep pig rather than a fucking sandwich. And then some girl starts crying when I'm like 7 years old. So, like, to me, I've kind of gone through this really angry phase as a kid, where, like, not being able to express it clearly enough to my schoolmates is like, and while seeing them get brainwashed by the teachers. It's like so infuriating to me. But then I kind of went through a phase with it, especially when I kind of had the humility to accept veganism and be like, fuck, that whole time I was a militant vegetarian, like I was eating fucking cheese and like shouting at all these other kids. It's like maybe my frustration was coming from my inability to express it to them, as opposed to their stupidity to understand what I was saying.
Yeah, it can be hard to tell which it is, for sure.
I mean, is it like, could you make a sort of fundamental rule that it's always the person expressing it or always the person understanding it? Like,
no, I mean, like, we could probably like talk about it a bit and hash out some kind of like parameters for determining whose fault it is. I don't have anything off the top of my head, but I mean, I think that even if we have a hard time telling it in practice in all cases, there are some clear cases. I mean, I think we can all agree with that, right?
Yeah.
So some clear cases where obviously it's this person's fault or obviously it's the person explaining's fault.
Do you know what, actually, I think that's one of the, like, it kind of links back to when you were first on the podcast, Richard. We were kind of talking about this whole idea that, you know, like this sociopathic image that you're putting out that garnered you a lot of interest. And I think, like, the thing is like, you're actually like the fucking opposite of a sociopath. You're someone who will just like openly express your emotions as a virtuous thing to help others. Like, a psychopath is like the opposite of that. They'll do things in a calculated manner based on what benefits them the most. Like, I mean, like, roaming Millennial is more likely a psychopath than you are if she's like done all of this just to kind of earn it.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah, I'm not saying she is, but I'm saying like possibly she's like, that is more how psychopaths operate in society. Someone who just says, oh, I can seem like a nice person while being interrupted on the internet and earn a bunch of money by, and the whole time she's encouraging people to eat animals and doesn't really give a
My outlook has really, really changed since I took shrooms. Like, it gave me a different level of empathy. Like, before, I had like a really crazy out-of-body experience in a hospital when I was like severely ill. It just made me realize that selfishness is sort of, it's sort of the death of all things. Like, in order for life to advance, you need to have empathy and put a value on other people's lives. So even though I had a very difficult time empathizing with people, I'd behave in a way that was empathetic.
Yeah.
And since I took shrooms, it's changed a bit. Like, I actually have empathy with people now. I still have some weird sociopathic tendencies. Like, I still am sadistic. Like, I actually enjoy hurting people and shit, but it's gotten better.
Yeah, man, I can relate to that, I think, because like, especially being like as a vegetarian, militant vegetarian at school, like the teachers are talking shit. Like, I can kind of tell it's propaganda when I'm a kid. All the kids are repeating it. I can see that they're eating animals. Like, it makes me very angry. Like, I got into a bunch of fights off the back of it. And I guess in terms of like your early programming, like you played hockey as a kid. Like, that's a game where like if you fight people, it's like it's good.
Yeah. Well, and the reason I wanted to play hockey in the first place was because I just wanted to hurt people.
Oh right, yes. Yeah,
like, just even as a very, very young child, I just wanted to hurt people.
Yeah.
Like, for no real reason, I just enjoyed it.
Yeah, I don't know where that comes from. But whatever, if you have moral principles and you understand it's wrong and you don't act on it.
Well, yeah. Like, I've learned that.
But that's the fucked up thing, right? Is like, in theory, I could, like, not to go back to this, but you know, I can say like, fuck the human, save the fly. Like, in theory, you talk about like, I wish, you know, babies died or you stomped them or whatever. People are more offended at the wishing the death of babies than the actual death.
Yeah, that's funny.
That was just a joke. I thought that was not even a serious sentiment.
No, I know. Like, I thought I made it clear enough that it was a joke. Like, I kind of hinted that it was a gag in that video, but yeah, people still made videos saying, wow, you actually want to kill children.
What if on like some sort of voodoo like fucking level, it's like people eat dead things, right? And then they have to justify it morally in their head. That corrupts their logic. And you know, that kind of fucks them up kind of permanently until they can go through the shame barrier of just admitting what they did to themselves to like develop the empathy again. It might be a case that the majority of people, like the carnist society that we have, they are fundamentally sort of psychopathic, and the only reason they ever care about anything is just like virtue signaling. So they'll get more upset about words on the internet if it means they can fit in with the dominant group than they actually care about the real thing itself. So like the symbol, the word that represents the thing becomes more important than the thing itself.
I mean, isn't like 1% of the population on the spectrum
of sociopathy, psychopathy?
Yeah, if that's true, that's 1 in 100 people who are at least like on the spectrum. I mean, you would expect to have encountered some of them, and those might be the people who just don't give a fuck.
Yeah, could be.
They're the ones who, like, you go up to them in the street and they're wearing fur, and you go like, do you know how this is made? And they're like, yeah, they're anally electrocuted. And you're like, fuck, they already know. Like, what do I do now? Like, it's
possible that they're on the spectrum. I think some people act like they don't care as well, just as a defense mechanism. So it's kind of a little bit hard to gauge whether they are like a true sociopath.
There's actually a term for it in psychology called, I think it's called reaction projection. I'd have to look it up. It's Freud, but it's where you compensate for some like perceived problem with your reasoning or how you're operating by overemphasizing the opposite. Like when someone tells you like you're bad for eating meat, you're like, oh, I just mouthed like 5 hot dogs. And I think it's reaction formation. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean, but if you think, I think everyone's fucking psychopathic. If you like look at the definition, because like what most of these like these stupid fucking carnists are basically saying, like, why aren't her whole argument in the original video really like she kind of got distracted by the necessary health and all that. Those were sort of like the bells and whistles on it. But what she was saying is like, why can't vegans just shut the fuck up and stop being preachy? And like, if you think about it, like what she's saying is like, why can't you be like the nice vegans who don't talk about what I'm doing that's evil?
I make this point.
Yeah, exactly.
The doormat. I always point this out. It's like, yeah, you're happy with vegans so long as they're doormats, and you won't really say it, but you define a obnoxious vegan as a vegan who tells you that you're ethically wrong, as a vegan who is the nail that isn't hammered down.
Yeah, and to me, that's how you play out. Like any rebellious group in an oppressive society is always going to point to those people and go, "Why can't you just shut the fuck up? Like we don't care that we're doing something wrong." And that to me is psychopathic behavior. It's like, yeah, I kind of see that it's wrong, but you know, like shut up because we don't like you. We as a collective group, like, don't like you. Shame on you for speaking up, rather than shame on ourselves for doing something. And like, you know, I think that's one of the reasons veganism's grown so much in Israel is because they have a different culture where. Like with the 269 movement over there, they're able to get on mainstream television because they're a country that's kind of like permanently in war with this kind of heightened state. So their heroes are like more militant people. Like being extreme in Israel is kind of seen as more of a virtue rather than like some scary fucking terrorist.
I think Gary Yourofsky might also have a point. He said that people who've been oppressed tend to understand oppression. I think that could play a role in why Israel has moved towards veganism in such a noticeable way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that would explain why Roaming. I mean, Roaming. I don't know. This is kind of an assumption, but she seems like someone who hasn't really, you know, life hasn't handed her much hardship. So it's probably like you say, "Oh, you're killing a cow." She's like, "Oh well." You know, she's never been in a fight. She doesn't know what pain really feels like. So to her, it's just like this abstract concept where at the end of it, she's just like, I want to eat. I just want to eat the same thing I already fucking ate.
Yeah.
Isn't she vegetarian?
I think she's reducitarian. I also just want to say one thing. You're talking about psychopathy and people exhibiting psychopathic behavior. And yeah, I mean, I totally agree. That behavior is psychopathic. There's just, I mean, here's what I'm saying. You don't have to be a psychopath, like someone who would actually be diagnosed with psychopathy, to be completely psychopathic in a given domain. That's why I always talk about carnism as indoctrinated psychopathy, because people who are not psychopaths are indoctrinated into psychopathic behavior, like what you were just describing.
Well, I suppose you're suggesting the idea that like some people are born with some level of brain damage where they can never have empathy. It's kind of like type 1 diabetes, but like type 1 psychopathy, and then there's type 2 where you give it to yourself because society.
Yeah, I guess. Well, like one of the defining, you know, factors between like psychopathy and sociopathy is psychopaths are born, whereas sociopaths are created.
I've never heard of it.
So, like, that's my understanding of it anyway.
I read a book by, I think it's called John Ronson. It's like, it's called The Psychopath Test, and it shows how, like, in just different areas of the world, like, and different tests, like, you can be a psychopath under different definitions. So it's just this kind of arbitrary, and it's mostly psychologists fighting over owning the, you know, the definition of the word as their legacy when they die. It's like, oh, I came up with what psychopathy means, so they've sort of fought over it. So like, it's kind of weird using those words when they're not necessarily like completely medically defined anyway. There's kind of different versions of them. But yeah, one thing I wanted to talk about is, so that, like, I kind of touched on it earlier. I don't think I fully finished. Is this guy, Andy Warski, probably like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I turned him vegan, had a live debate with him, like just kind of blew his mind that like he was eating animals, and he was like, fuck, you're right, this is really disturbing. And that was off the back of him actually calling you out, Richard, and I saw that, and like I think Sorsha got involved, and then he started calling out Sorsha, and I was like, fuck it, let's just have a, you know, like a live I don't know if we did it live. I've just re-uploaded it. But he's now got, at the time he had a channel that was maybe like 10,000 subs. Now he's on like 233. Hang on, yeah, 1,000. And he his whole thing has become like just attacking SJWs. But 5 months into being vegan, he just made a video announcing that he'd stopped and peer pressure got too much for him. And he couldn't be fucked with it anymore. He agreed with it, but he was just too lazy to carry on. And like that really fucking got me down, man. Because like when I turn someone vegan, and especially when I record it and capture that moment, it's like such a fucking victory. And then to have them turn around 5 months later, and then the twist in the plot is like today I see him on fucking Roaming Millennials live stream, and he's chucking money at her and being like, "Yeah, destroy these vegans."
Yeah, like you can't unlearn that it's wrong to needlessly kill animals. It's just very strange behavior.
I've kind of been streaming with Richard all over the place, so I'm forgetting where I've said what today, but he also massively misrepresented my position in his response video. And I've got people from my audience, presumably, correcting him and just saying, no, you did not adequately capture his argument.
I mean, you must be aware, Richard, that like people kind of they don't want to debate you because they believe that, you know, veganism's wrong or that veganism isn't right for everybody. They just want your fucking subs, basically. You're kind of at that point now where it's
absolutely. Jasmine just linked me some dude who messaged her or something saying that he's a biologist who wants to do a debate. He said this retarded shit. I'll pull up the message, what exactly he said. He claimed that many vegan points have merit, but he was saying that I was emotional and projecting insecurities of pseudo-intellectualism. No, I was just that she was rambling about nonsense, and I just had to cut her off constantly because she was just gonna divert into a completely irrelevant topic. Then he said, I would like to debate you to clear up some misconceptions. His use of environmental factors to suggest animals are inherently bad for human consumption was particularly amusing. Like, this guy is claiming he's a biologist. This means nothing. He's not like a cardiac pathologist who specializes in what causes heart disease. Like, you know what? Like, if this guy thinks that meat, dairy, and eggs don't cause heart disease, why don't you fucking put your credentials up against Dr. William C. Roberts, editor-in-chief of the American Journal of Cardiology, or the president of the American College of Cardiology, Dr. Kim A. Williams? They both recommend fucking vegan diets. They both state that animal flesh causes heart disease. And you're just saying you're a fucking biologist? What the fuck does that mean? Like,
being a militant vegetarian as a kid and like having a fucking teacher say like, oh, you know, like meat is part of the, you know, the food pyramid or the food wheel, like at the time. And I'm just sitting there going like, I know this is wrong. I don't fucking eat it. Fine. So like, and so immediately I lost any trust in authority, and that's just continued. Like, the longer I've been vegan, the more I can, like, one of the things I learned recently that just kind of fucking blew my mind is like, the way to become like head of a pharmaceutical company isn't to become like, you know, doctor, chemist, like head chemist, pharmaceutical company owner. The way is to become like a cocaine dealer who's so fucking ruthless in your area that you move into the medical profession. Like, it's so fucking creepy to me. And the thing is, like, you can talk about like doctors who are like, you know, they're heart surgeons and all this, and they're still talking about fucking protein in like meat. And it's just like, how fucking stupid are the people we thought were intelligent as kids? Like the people in white coats and that, they're fucking idiots.
I'm under the impression that doctors don't need much nutrition training.
Yeah, they don't study nutrition in school.
It's not just the fact that I mean, like, they do like something like, I think it's like 14 hours in 7 years or something, and it's basically just the stuff that, I mean, I've seen it with like a next door neighbor with my parents, right, where she has like something like 6 heart attacks. They put her on all this fucking medication she has to take every day. It's called Wolf something. Do you know this one? Wolf. It's like basically a blood thinning medication. Wolfrin. Okay. It's called Wolfrin, right? And it might have, I mean, that's just a fucking trading name. It might have a different name in Canada, but like, so Wolfrin thins the blood. And then the advice they give her is, don't eat green vegetables because that will thin your blood even more. And so it's like, they put her on the fucking medication that in this country have to pay towards these fucking pharmaceutical companies that are owned by like the most ruthless cocaine dealers who made it into the institutionalized game. And then like they're basically stopping her from having the food that's like should be
that would cure her illness. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll cure her too much. Like her blood will get too thin, and then then it will go the other way. And it's like,
that is absolutely fucking insane. Don't eat the healthy foods that will cure your condition.
Yeah,
it'll interfere with the medication too much.
That's happening everywhere, man. It's like when I my relatives who aren't vegan, like I've asked them to just get their medication out on the table when we're all sitting and eating together, and suddenly they're all like really proud of it. They're like, "Oh, look at like my uncle, like my fucking drunk dickhead uncle is like putting all this medication on the table." I love the guy really, but he's a fucking idiot, right? He puts all this medication on the table and it like fills like a huge area of the table, and I'm like, "How long is that going to last you for?" And he's like, "Oh, till the end of the month." And it's like, what the fuck is going on? Like, and the reason he has all that shit is because he doesn't drink water. Like, he drinks alcohol and fucking eats like. I think it's so fuck. Like, if the doctors just said maybe you should drink water, and then recently I was chatting to him, and it turns out he's gone on a fucking gluten-free diet because the doctors have told him to do it.
What the fuck?
We only drink beer. Do you know what I mean? And it just fucking mind that like. I mean, this is why I become more misanthropic the more I see it. Like, it's just everywhere, and even the people who are posing as intelligent, like the people who've written the studies that roaming millennials now are sending on Twitter, they're
well, she's not even citing studies. She's just citing random blog articles that have no citations.
Yeah, but the fact they've got someone who claims to be a doctor or have a PhD or whatever in them,
right.
Those people eat animals. Like it's like the most fucking. It's so dumb. Like they're just sticking dead bodies in their mouth, and then we're still meant to respect them. I can't.
Yeah, like what's always freaked me out with so many actual medical doctors I've seen, like there doesn't seem to be a high standard for intelligence to become a doctor. It's very strange.
Yeah, it's just literally like learn how to prescribe the pharmaceutical drugs.
Yeah, basically. That's really what they're told. They're mostly, like, especially physicians, they're just taught how to treat acute illnesses like infections and stuff.
Yeah, but I mean just going back to what I was saying though, is like you must be very aware that like if we're calling it like type 2, like this kind of like this bred into people psychopathy. Like there's
I have someone at my door. This is weird.
Okay.
And could we end this in like 10 minutes just because it's been a while, if you don't mind?
Yeah, sure, man. Yeah, I actually lost track of time. Yeah. Okay.
It's been very nice talking to you guys, though.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's a bit of a wind down after the whole like. I don't know if you're arguing with her on Twitter though.
That cancerous experience.
Fuck, man. It was. I just don't know what the point of that monkey guy being there was. He just.
Yeah.
That was a very popular comment. A lot of people said, "What was he doing there? Like, what was his point in the debate?"
Yeah,
he only said like 3 sentences, and it was just mischaracterizing you.
Well, not even that. He just like repeatedly said like, "Oh, I don't understand. Can you repeat it?" He just slowed down the amount of.
Completely didn't fucking understand anything.
Yeah, he never got it. But yeah, what I wanted to ask you, Richard, is like, in terms of like effectiveness, if that's what you're going after, rather than just like being understood, is like, how do you decide who to debate with and who not to? Is it basically just on sub count and then you just give your honest opinion and hope to catch from people, or is it just like fuck this person, they don't want to learn anything, they're just trying to grow their social media account?
Well, size of their social media account would be a huge factor into it, but
yeah.
I also factor in whether or not the debate will end up going anywhere. Like roaming millennial, I could back her into a corner very easily and, show everyone that she has no fucking idea of what she's talking about. Someone like, what was his name? Andrew Worski or something? Like Andy Worski. Yeah, I wouldn't bother debating him because he doesn't know anything about nutrition, so it's not like we can debate that topic. And he just is too fucking stupid to understand any sort of ethical argument. So I could, spit logic in his face until I pass out, but the debate just won't go anywhere. He'll just say, I don't understand, that doesn't make any sense.
Ex-vegans are the worst fucking people as well. I think like once you've been through the shame of realizing you fucked up the first time and then slip back into it, it's like those people are like they're lost fucking soul at that point. They're not pregans anymore. They're never coming back, in my opinion.
Yeah, in all likelihood, no.
Yeah.
Well, and the reason he quit veganism was because he was too fucking lazy.
Yeah, and some kind of like basic peer pressure, which is always kind of fucking weak.
Yeah, that's lame as shit.
He's like the 100th monkey. He'll go vegan once every other fucker's done it, and then he'll join in when it's popular.
Yeah.
Yeah, Richard, do you think you're going to respond to the video that he put out? Talks about you.
Yeah, I probably will.
Yeah, but he's an ex-vegan. Do you know who else I talked to he turned out to be an ex-vegan? Have you seen this guy in New York who eats like he goes to vegan protests. He's like an anti.
Oh yes, the crazy guy. He eats the brains at the protest from the skull of the animal.
Yeah, so I chatted to him for about 3 hours, and like
Milkman.
Yeah, about
he calls himself Milkman.
Mr. Milk Jar he's called. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's a really bad fucking idea to eat animal brains. Like for many reasons. A lot of parasites are contained in the brains. Like he could get a brainworm very easily.
Does it have more cholesterol than eggs?
Yeah, like about 5 to 10 times more cholesterol than eggs. So.
The whole debate went on for fucking ages because the guy was like, "Yeah, I really need raw meat because it really helps with my mental focus." And I'm like, "Are you fucking serious?" But that was his main argument for eating like raw flesh, was like it helped his brain focus, and he was gone, man. He was atherosclerosis will not improve your brain function, I can assure you. Yeah,
cutting blood flow off to your brain. Yeah.
Not wishing for this or anything, but if that guy happened to die while eating the brain at a vegan protest, that would be kind of pretty funny publicity.
Yeah, choke on it or something. Or a stroke, yeah, that'd be hilarious.
Something caused by the brains.
yeah, like a stroke would be great.
The amount of people, like, just passers-by seeing him along with the vegan stuff, and they're like, "Fuck, maybe we shouldn't eat animals. That's weird." Like,
like this is our representation.
He's helping the cause, yeah. But I think, I don't know what kind of point to end this on. Really, it's not like a fucking closing statement. It's just
I actually have one question for you. Vegan Revolution, were you raised vegan or vegetarian? You said you were vegetarian at age 7?
Yeah, I was raised vegetarian. And I didn't eat eggs as well. Like, didn't have leather. Like, didn't swat flies.
Like actual vegetarian, not like people who think fish is a vegetable. Vegetarian.
Yeah, exactly. It was lacto-vegetarian, I guess is the right term. Like, it was. I basically grew up with parents who had spent a bit of time in India, so they believed that the cow was also my mother, which is, I've got my parents to go vegan though. It's been a fucking slow process because it's one of those things where like spirituality, religion gets in the way. But I'm the more conservative kind of child who's just like, "Fuck you, I'm interested in logic." And like, I see so many kids like feel like they're rebelling against conservative parents by becoming like sort of Hare Krishna hippies or whatever. And I'm just like, it's kind of like if you get raised by Hare Krishna hippies, you're like, I want nothing. Like, I just want to learn the fucking trivium. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, it's kind of weird how it goes that way, but yeah, man, I think there's definitely. I guess the thing is like the whole Gandhi speech that always comes up in Earthlings is like, first they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you. The way I see this is kind of like it's a good step that the debates are becoming the new
for sure
on YouTube, because that shows that they're going to try and fight us and they're going to fucking lose because like the truth stands up and they don't fucking have that on their side. So that's a
Yeah, they're very quickly losing, and I like how veganism is a topic that's spilling over into the skeptic and politics community as well. It's getting out of the.
I know, it's awesome, and that's kind of what I was getting at earlier. I didn't speak too well on the Patreon stream, but like with vegans putting out actual quality anti-SJW, anti-progressive content, like drawing some of that audience, that's really good. It's going to do some good work, and to the extent that they attack us, they just punch themselves in the face because debates with them look like it looked today, or it looks like it looked with Bering. It's like
very fucking bad.
Look good for you guys. You're welcome to keep coming at us. I mean, you're better off just strawmanning veganism by attacking intersectionality.
Do you know the anti-SJWs are such a fucking good target because they've been attacking SJWs, so they feel like they're fucking invincible. But it's because
and it's like we have a power of censoring vegan. They mistake us for SJWs, then they attack us, and they see this like massive quantity of rational argument.
Yeah.
More SJWs, the ones who don't eat animals, and it's like something they're like, fuck, they actually understand the logic that we pretend.
Yeah, a whole different thing.
But yeah, I think the anti-SJW thing is definitely a blessing for veganism, and that's the way it's going to progress.
Yeah, and the more engagement, the better. I mean, they can just keep coming at us, and we will just keep producing counter content.
Can I ask, have you found, like, did Bearing subs go up as a result of it, or did he lose subs? Did you keep track on it?
I didn't keep track.
Mine went way the fuck up, and I didn't even participate in that debate. I was just trolling in the comment section.
I mean, it'd be kind of interesting to just evaluate that a little bit. Because with like Buddhism, when it was kind of like fractured, you know, like back then, you have people who worship fire, and then you have people who worship whatever. Like the reason Buddhism got so big is because a small tribe of people just walked around arguing with other tribes, and then they'd steal some of the followers of that tribe leader. And YouTube feels like a modern day equivalent of that now.
I can see that.
Yeah, it's kind of it's brutal, man. It's a fucking wasteland of people following idiots. We can just go.
A wasteland. I like the imagery.
A digital wasteland, man. Yeah, but anyway, that's probably the 10 minutes. Like, if you got balance, we can end it there.
Yeah, man. Great talking to you, though. Happy to do it anytime.
Yeah,
for sure.
I think I've figured out which buttons to press now if we do it again, so that's all good. Yeah, appreciate it, Richard, and yeah, thanks, Isaac. I just hit this.
You know it, man. Have a good day.
Yeah, peace.
See you, man.
See you.